Hi everyone, welcome to DIY with Nancy. Today I'm going to be making my Picos de Coco coconut buns. So soft, fluffy, and delicious. Coconut happens to be one of my favorite ingredients for any dessert. And so when I make these, I really look forward to biting into them. They go down like water for me because I love these coconut buns. So stay with me and watch how to make my Picos de Coco coconut buns step by step. The first step in making the Picos de Coco is to activate the yeast. I have here 1 cup of lukewarm milk, and to that I'm adding 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar and 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast. You want to ensure that you mix it together. Once you have your yeast mixture mixed well together, you want to set it aside for about 10 minutes and let it activate. On to the next step. I'm going to start off with 2 eggs. To that, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. And to that, I'm also going to add a pinch of salt. I'm using the paddle attachment for the mixing. I'm going to place the mixer on high speed and let it mix for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes of mixing, I can see I have a nice creamy texture of the eggs and the sugar combined. And at this point, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Place that in there. And to that, I'm going to add 3/4 cups of unsalted butter at room temperature. Mine's been sitting on the counter for a while, so you can see it's partially melted, but that's okay. I'm going to place the butter all into the mixture, and I'm going to place the mixer on high speed and let it mix for an additional 45 seconds before I add the balance of the ingredients. Okay, I can see that the mixture has come together nicely. I'm going to place the mixer on low speed. At this point, I'm going to add the activated yeast that I prepared earlier. Place that into the mixture. Now at this point, the mixture is well combined. I want to make sure the yeast has mixed in well, so a few seconds. And at this point, I'm going to add the last ingredient, and I'm just going to remove the paddle attachment. Now at this point, I'm ready to add the flour. I'm adding 4 cups of flour, and I'm going to add the flour gradually. I'm placing half of the flour now, and then I'm going to place my hook attachment to the mixer, and this is going to help me knead the dough and have it come together nicely. I'm going to place the mixer on low speed and let the flour combine well with the mixture. And once I see it's coming together, I'm going to gradually add the balance of the flour. Now that I added the balance of the flour, I'm going to let the mixer continue mixing until the dough is formed. And the dough is coming together and it's ready. So after 3 minutes of mixing, the dough will come together. It's not a sticky dough at all. It's great to work with. So I want to give you a quick look. See, it stretches out perfectly and it's not sticky. Now for the next step, I'm going to place the dough in a larger bowl, and it's just going to give it room to rise. So I'm just going to form a round ball out of the dough, just as I'm doing here. And now I'm going to place it in the center of the bowl. Just going to give it room to rise. You don't have to put oil or grease the bowl at all. Like I said, it's not a sticky dough. And I'm going to use a tea towel to cover it, set it aside, and wait until it doubles in size. Now while I'm waiting for the dough to rise, I'm going to prepare the coconut mixture. I'm going to start off with 4 cups of unsweetened coconut. You can use sweetened coconut for this recipe. I just choose to use unsweetened because I don't want the Picos de Coco very sweet. And to that, I'm going to add half a cup of granulated sugar. Stir to combine the sugar with the coconut. To the coconut and sugar, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. Make sure it's all in there. And next I'm going to add 2 extra large eggs. Now, if you don't have extra large eggs, I just happen to have extra large, so I'm just using 2. But if you don't have extra large, you can use 3 large eggs. Now you'll see that I beat the eggs before I add it to the coconut mixture. It just makes it easier for me to combine the eggs and the coconut. Now I don't want the coconut mixture to be too wet or too dry. So if you find it's too wet, add more coconut, and if it's too dry, just add another egg. Now I want you to take a look at the consistency. It should hold well in your hand, so it's not too wet or too dry. There you have it. Breaks apart easily. Now that I have the coconut mixture ready, I'm going to set it aside and wait for the dough to rise. Now let's check on our dough. About an hour and 20 minutes has passed, and I can see the dough has doubled in size. Look at that. Perfect. I'm just going to check the center. Oh, nice and fluffy. Okay, now before I remove the dough from the bowl, I'm just going to flour my counter surface. I have 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and I'm just lightly flouring the counter surface so the dough doesn't stick to the counter while I'm rolling it. Now I'm ready to take the dough, place it onto the surface, and you can see that this dough is not sticky. It's not sticking to the bowl at all. It's very easy to work with. Now I'm ready to roll out the dough. Using my rolling pin and flouring the rolling pin so it doesn't stick to the dough, I'm going to roll it out to about 18 inches. You want to ensure you roll out your dough to about 1/4 of an inch thickness. Now I want to make the dough an even square shape. So I'm going to use a pizza cutter to cut out the edges and even out the 4 sides to a square shape. For the next step, I'm going to place the coconut mixture onto the dough. Now I'm going to be leaving about 6 inches of the dough without the coconut mixture and filling the balance of the dough with the coconut mixture. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. Now I didn't place all of the coconut mixture onto the dough. I'm going to be placing it on gradually. I'm going to spread it out to the edges, the bottom, and the sides. Make sure that you have an even coat of the coconut mixture on the dough. And I'm also going to leave about 1/4 of the coconut mixture for the topping of the Picos de Coco. Okay, I want to explain what I'm doing here. I have about 18 inches of length of dough and left 6 inches. So I'm going to have 2 layers of coconut. I'm going to take the layer that has no coconut and flip it halfway. And now you're going to fold it gently 1 more time over the coconut. So you will have 2 layers of coconut. Now I have here a baking tray with some parchment paper where I'm going to be placing the coconut buns or Picos de Coco. And I'm going to be using a pizza cutter to make a nice clean cut for the Picos de Coco. And depending how wide you cut them, you can get more or less. So anywhere from 6 to 8 Picos de Coco. coconut buns are now ready to be placed onto the baking tray, and I'm going to be placing them on very gently, and I'm placing them on the tray about 2 to 3 inches apart because they will be expanding in the oven. Once you have the Picos de Coco on the baking tray, it's now ready for a second rise. I'm placing a tea towel to cover the Picos de Coco, and I'm going to be placing it in a warm place for about 20 to 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, that's how long I've had it set aside. They have really puffed out, and I just want you to see what the inside, you can see the layers of the coconut. Now, before I place them in the oven, I have here 1 egg. I'm going to be using it as an egg wash, and I'm going to be just beating it a little bit and then just brushing it onto the Picos de Coco coconut buns. And once you're done with the egg wash, one more step before these coconut babies go in the oven. Now the balance of the coconut mixture is going to be coated right on top of the Picos de Coco. The Picos de Coco coconut buns are ready to go into the oven. I'm going to bake them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, the Picos de Coco are out of the oven, and you want to make sure you let them cool for at least 5 minutes. And now for the last and final step, I'm going to dust some confectioner's sugar on top of the Picos de Coco. These Picos de Coco coconut buns look super fluffy. Let's break into it. It's so fluffy and soft and full of coconut. I want you to have a super close up. It's super soft with that coconut filling. And of course, I'm gonna bite into this. I can't wait. I'm sorry. That crunch, so good, absolutely delicious. Okay everyone, I hope you all enjoyed watching how to make my Picos de Coco coconut buns. I can't wait to dig in. I took a bite, but I'm gonna take another one. I want you to see, I cut it in half because I want you to see how nice and thick and full of coconut the bun really is. Look at that. Oh, it's so good. And I can't wait to dig in. So everyone, I hope you all enjoy the recipe. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Take care.